Joining us now is Brian Tarl from International Kitchen and Bath. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. So the trend we're seeing and we're hearing, people are not moving as much, people are staying put, and they're doing more renovations, and maybe renovating now for possibly selling in the future, or renovating now because they're not going to sell. So what are some of the trends you're seeing, or some of the improvements people are focusing on?
Well, I think there's a number of different areas people are going. Some that are and maybe want to move. Certainly paint would be a big one. Fresh coat of paint always looks good. Countertops, maybe hardware. Getting rid of the old brass hardware in kitchens, bathrooms, any place around the home. If people want to stay, they are getting into countertops, maybe just doing countertops and hardware and maybe backsplashes. So you don't necessarily have to spend a fortune to remodel, but there's a...
Now, is the granite still very popular, or is that still one of the more...
Oh yeah, granite's probably still number one.
Okay.
And people think of it more as a high-end product, but it actually has come down in price in the last few years, and it's gotten very competitive, and it's definitely number one out there. People like to see that in a nicer home.
And a lot of stone and backsplashes and...
Right. Stone's very popular just about throughout your whole home, whether it's out for yardscaping or backsplashes on tile, around fireplaces.
It kind of ties in with that whole green movement too. We keep hearing about a lot of people wanting to be more green with their home. What are some of the...
Well, people are much more conscious of their carbon footprint, so to speak, and they want to look for low VOC paints. And paints and finishes on cabinets, or even on their walls when they're repainting. Everything from the LEED program, which is out there now, which is a effort to do everything cost consciously to reduce this carbon footprint, even to the extent of dealing with local people, which you're not using all the gas and the transportation to get cabinets or stone products or whatever to your home. So there's a lot of awareness with that right now.
And energy efficiency improvements. I know we've made a lot with completely redoing our HVAC systems and insulation and tinting the windows.
And there are programs out there now. The government's got some programs. I'm not sure what the limits are or the tax credits, but anything energy efficiency wise, home insulation, siding, roofing, storm doors, new windows, that sort of thing.
What's the trend now? You mentioned fixtures. Obviously, brass is out. What are people putting in now? Because I know there was the polished nickel and the chrome.
Yeah, right. What they call oil rub bronze is big. It's a darker finish.
Okay.
The brushed pewter type of look, I think, and we heard from decorators last year that the polished chrome was going to be back, but we haven't seen too much of that.
You haven't?
Yeah, that was a style from the 80s, 90s, but I don't see it coming back, but it's in the wind.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so are there particular rooms that people are more focusing on to make more of an impact, especially if you're eventually going to sell? Does it make more sense to focus on a kitchen or a bathroom?
Well, traditionally, I think return on your money, kitchens and bathrooms have been very good.
Those are big.
Some folks, since they don't want to move, or companies aren't transferring people as often, so they are looking into the additions. I mean, it's a major investment, but if you got a great neighborhood around here, you're on the lake or close to a golf course, I mean, you can't beat an addition either. I mean, if you need it for a growing family or just to upgrade. So there, to get an extra bathroom, maybe get the fourth bedroom. So that's also popular, but slowed down a bit, but I think it'll come back.
Now, if you have a lot of renovations to do, how do you find the right person to work with? How do you know what to look for?
Well, by far, the best thing is referral and reference. I mean, and deal with folks that have been around a while. You can't go wrong with talking to neighbors, Better Business Bureau, Chamber of Commerce. And I'd also mention a group that is a member of the Lake Norman Chamber, which is Lake Norman Remodelers. I mean, there are a lot of good tradespeople in there that have been around for a long time. This is our 20th year in Lake Norman here, and
You've been here for 20 years.
I can't believe that.
Wow.
So
you've seen a lot of change.
It has been a lot of change, and welcome change. We sort of have to deal with some of the roads, but that's welcome.
Now, where were you originally? Where did you move from?
Originally from Pittsburgh.
Okay. And how did you get into this line of work?
Well, when I got out of school, I went to Penn State and pushed a pencil for a few years and just couldn't sit still. So ran into an architect, which led to remodeling, one thing another, and that's where I ended up. So.
Now, what's the finish that you have on this piece here? Is this one of your more popular?
Yeah, that is one of the more popular colors. People are going a little bit darker, and this is a glaze, a highlight or a glaze on here, which gives you a little more depth in the finish. So it's probably number one at this point. Whites are pretty dead as far as color goes, but off-whites are not. Now, off-white with a glaze or a more antique look is still very popular.
Kind of that French look. That
It's interesting you say that, because I have
date.
darker cabinets and I love them. And you know, my husband wanted to go lighter, and I think the darker looks richer.
I have about this color too, and I like it.
It does. It looks richer.
It's warmer feeling.
Right, and if you have enough lighting, especially either natural light or you do can lighting and some other type of lighting in your kitchen, I mean, it can look very rich.
It makes such a huge impact, changing cabinets and the countertop. I mean, it just takes just like a different room.
Yep.
But
can you tell us about what the Geppetto cabinetry is? Because that's one of the things that you offer.
Geppetto is a very local cabinet. They're out of Forest City, and right here in North Carolina. Been very conscientious of how they run their whole program, and they have grown in the past 8 years to a national level of quality and service that is just hard to beat. It's by far our number one seller. We love working with them. They can build. They're a good cross between, people think custom means that it can't be made in a big facility, it can't be made in a factory, but they're a great cross of having all the advantages of a large manufacturer with the investment in the finishing processes. And they are true woodworkers. I mean, they like building cabinetry. So.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. And you do have a 20% off running right now on the Geppetto cabinets, but that might be changing soon. So go to LKNSavings.com for the updated specials that International Kitchen and Bath in Davidson will have posted. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks,
thank
Brian.
you.
Thanks, Brian.